Hey everybody! Leading up to this Easter weekend here, and we are, about as into the spirit as we can be. We got a little plastic bunny. Keeps looking at me weird. I don't like it. But in addition to holiday spirit, we also have, the prerequisite mass amounts of comics.
Because it is Wednesday.
Yeah, so why beat around the bush? Let's start off with a big finale, actually, beginning with the end. This is issue 31, the final issue of the Superior Spider-Man. Dan Slott's Reign of Terror with Otto Octavius taking the place of Peter Parker is finally coming to an end. The one true Spider-Man is back, as represented by the classic blue and red tights going on here. Got all the greatest hits in the background, just falling down like the shattered hopes and dreams of every Spider-Man fan. But this is the end of the Goblin Nation storyline. Giuseppe Camuncoli on art duties. You've got a few backup tales in there, and a short preview of Silver Surfer, which is already out, but,
Is it number 1 or is it number 2?
I believe that's number 1. I don't know.
It's totally, yeah.
It could very possibly be the material from the all-new Marvel Now .1 issue. Who knows?
Boom! That's what it is.
I think I do.
Yeah. We see who's informed about shit here. Our stuff. Let's see here. From Boom this week, to go very well with the Pink Bunny, we have a pink cover here by Mr. Jeff Stokely. This is Translucid by Claudio Sanchez and Daniel Bayliss, and Claudio Sanchez's co-writer, Chandra Eckert, which I'm assuming is a girlfriend-wife thing, probably, assuming. But yeah, basically, this is the idea here that there's this kid who creates a supervillain? Superhero, rather, and who has to face against this really cool-looking kind of horse gangster dude.
They're sort of setting out to examine the hero arch-nemesis relationship, more typically seen in Batman and the Joker. You got a dark, hooded, cloaked Avenger of the Night facing off against a dude in a weird suit, so,
Kind of like, it's been billed as kind of like, in the vein of Irredeemable or Incorruptible, stuff like that. And the characters are all designed by Dan Duncan, which is pretty cool.
Really cool.
Yeah, and there's some very nice gradients in here. But yeah, it definitely looks pretty fun. Claudio Sanchez is the man behind Coheed, or one of the guys behind Coheed and Cambria, who loves comics, has been making comics for a few years now. So if you've liked Amory Wars or anything else like that, check his new book out.
I think I'll just grab this one right over here. Coming from Oni Press, this is the second huge issue of the Auteur. Look at this cover. This is like Statue of Liberty, Justice, Godzilla thing, stomping the whole city.
That's almost as good as Stokoe's Godzilla.
Almost.
That's almost as good.
There aren't many things that are, though.
No.
This is the second issue in the chronicle of deranged filmmaker Nathan T. Rex, working on his latest holiday-themed slasher, President's Day. At this point, he has decided that he needs himself a murder consultant. Because, how are you going to get all the gore to be suitably realistic if you don't have someone with some experience?
Absolutely. It's a smart idea.
This is by Rick Spears, one of the men behind Black Metal. And drawn by James Callahan, who I've never read any comics before.
He's a skateboard artist, apparently, I was told. So that's why his stuff has that really kind of cool, kind of Thrasher graphic type of thing. But yeah, usually guys who do really static stuff don't transition that well to sequentials.
But he's doing a great job. He's doing really good.
Book we don't see very often. This is about the third one. This is Dr. Gordmore by Greg Broadmoor, and before steampunk was really cool, this guy was doing really cool steampunk gun type of stuff, and this is Unnecessarily Violent Tales of Science Adventure for the Simple and Unfortunate. So, there's big guns, there's lots of monsters, he shoots them, and he smokes a pipe, and he's very British while he does it.
Yeah, and if you're, simple and unfortunate like us, you'll love this.
Yeah, it's great. And the other books, Victory was the second one, and I think the first one was just Dr. Gordbort.
This one being Triumph, of course.
Yes. We're kind of had short comic pages, and a bunch of pinups and some gun stuff, but this is mostly comic, which is very, very cool. And at $20, it's all oversized, it's nice, these things go out of print very fast, so if you like, any of those things we mentioned, you should pick it up.
And with that, shall we go ahead and transfer you over to Mr. Will Harris?
Mr. Will, who has shocking Marvel and DC stuff for us.
Hey guys, thanks for having me back, and I'm still reeling and excited from Nightcrawler #1, which is in the stores now by Chris Claremont. He's back from the dead, thanks to Jason Aaron, but he's still got hell to pay with Mommy Dearest Mystique. This is really cool. If you remember, if you're an old school X-Men fan, you know they always used to go into town and have a party at Harry's Hideaway. So Jason Aaron, he sets up everything, you know, just when you think everything's hunky-dory and Nightcrawler's back, Mystique steps in. What does she want? What is her agenda with Kurt? And how does this fill in with the long-standing crazy feud with Azazel from her fat dad? Really great issue. Cameron Stewart is the guest artist this week. Wolverine, speaking of Wolverine, you know, they're really building, and this is in his solo book where he's now killable. He's lost his mutant power. I mean, he's just cutting off ties with everybody. There's some really, really cool scenes, kind of heartbreaking scenes, especially there's one with him and Kitty Pryde. He pretty much confronts it, basically severs all ties with the X-Men as he moves off further into his role as working for these criminals. And of course, you know, later this year they're building up to a new storyline called 3 Months to Die, where Wolverine might die, kind of like Nightcrawler did. Anyway, but I like what Paul Cornell is doing with it, and Ryan Stegman, I really like the art he's doing. So Wolverine, check it out. It's really great. It'll break your heart, X-Men fans. This is an incredible week. I'm just going to hold it up. It's double the Batman, then and now, and everyone is awesome. This is the final act of Zero Year by Scott Snyder, Greg Capullo. I mean, this is the year that Bruce Wayne evolved into the Batman, and we're, you know, basically he's been defeated by the Riddler. Scott Snyder, let's just say it, turned the Riddler into an awesome badass. And Batman's been defeated. I mean, this art is just amazing and beautiful, and there's this apocalyptic way of Gotham City and how do they move forward. You got Jim Gordon with a beard. I mean, you got Batman, basically, some people are telling him, you know, you just need to leave. You've been defeated. And the Riddler sitting up in his tower above Gotham, challenging someone to come challenge him to solve this riddle to save Gotham City again. I mean, this kind of ties you. It's just amazing. I mean, look at this artwork. So anyway, really good. I love it. It's the final act. And how will it tie into when it gets back into the forward, into the here and now? It's going to be awesome. Batman Eternal. This is chapter 2 of the new weekly series, led by Scott Snyder and a whole team of writers. Jason Fabok, Jim Gordon, behind bars. And what's cool about this is it's almost every character you've seen. As I'm reading this, I'm like, oh, that character, oh, this character. And it's everybody from the Gotham Gazette to, there's a really infamous Bat villain who makes his new 52 debut in this. And it's all leading to a bigger part of a puzzle, this mystery. We already know how it ends. If you got #1, you see, you know, Bruce Wayne defeated there. How did they get in that position is really cool. And can, you know, Jim Gordon's good name be saved? Batman Eternal #2 this week. And finally, it's with mixed feelings that I recommend Hulk #1. I loved Indestructible Hulk. I love the fact that Bruce Banner was working with Maria Hill and working as an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., and the Hulk was a weapon of mass destruction. But all good things must end. Mark Waid is staying on the book. He's joined by the great Mark Bagley. And this picks up right after the last one where Bruce Banner got shot. Who shot Banner? Who wants him dead? He's made a lot of enemies working for S.H.I.E.L.D. And then what goes on in the operating room is really crazy, involving the Hulk. And literally at the end, Bruce Banner is pretty radically changed, and maybe only the Hulk is left to figure out to save him. Who's behind like killing Banner, trying to kill Banner. So it's mixed feelings that I say goodbye to Indestructible Hulk and Hulk New, but it's, you know, Mark Waid's doing great work with this, and you know that's part of what comics. So you got to bring him down so we can bring him back up again. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Will, for educating us on all things Wolverine and otherwise.
Because that is confusing.
Yeah, I cannot keep.
I lost that. Yeah.
Something that I can keep totally straight in my head though is Sinestro #1. Finally, the greatest lantern of them all, because, you know, forget that Hal Jordan guy. This is written by Cullen Bunn, drawn by Dale Eaglesham. You will recognize those names from The Sixth Gun and, like, the best JSA ever. This follows, I don't know where exactly it fits into the whole Green Lantern DC timeline, because he's like over doing the whole Parallax thing and Forever Evil or whatever.
Just push that under the rug.
This picks up with Sinestro, like, covered in bandages, like a necklace made of tiger's teeth, like, just hanging out in some old space temple, you know, when all of a sudden saber-toothed tigers in space attack him. And it just gets better from there. Really, just the best character out of Jeff Johns' whole run.
Yeah.
Finally in his own book.
And he's huge!
I don't know what more you can want than that.
Sabretooth is huge! Everything's
That's
very
like
large
4
in that
eyes.
book. Yes, it's very cool. From Pop Goes the Icon, a very small indie publisher, comes this neon noir about a detective who has to solve a mystery that leads him to the very edge of the world and beyond. As usual with private detective stuff, you get hired for one thing and, you know, shocking, you find out that maybe the people that hired you weren't exactly who they said they were.
What? That never
You know,
happens.
and maybe that woman, you shouldn't have trusted her and you probably shouldn't have, you know, kissed her, and yeah, you know, it's usually bad. But yeah, this is by newcomers here, Dan... I'm probably going to ruin the Schade. Schade, and very young artist J.D. Faith here. But this book is really cool. I have a serious affinity for pink. In this comic, it's all pink. It's very two-toned. There's some really great use of the two-toning. If you were a fan of the Casanova stuff, the Image stuff before they fully colored it, this is definitely cool. But yeah, you know, just kind of a random small one we try to get in, and yeah, it looks really good. It looks all official and stuff.
Yeah, it's got sort of Dean Motter, Mr. X vibe going on with the design of the city and everything.
Yeah, it's good design to it, yeah. Did I say the name of the book? San Hannibal is the name of this book.
Might have been important there.
Might have been.
You know, yeah, with that really awful error there, I think we should probably go and avert attention from ourselves.
And give you the law!
Hi, I'm Arthur Wyatt. I'm the writer of Dredd Underbelly, available here at Zanadu Comics. It's the one-year-on sequel to the 2012 Dredd movie, starring Carl Urban, which is itself the movie version of the Judge Dredd comic from 2000 AD. It's a really fine comic. It's got the art of Henry Flint, who is possibly one of the best artists that 2000 AD have ever had working for them. It's got Judge Anderson, it's got the Cursed Earth. It does not have futuristic swearing because of the movie has real swearing, so there's no drocking or stomping. But you will get some people shot in the face, so that's good.
Thank you, Arthur, for coming in, signing books. We are probably going to be out of those really, really soon, so if you want them, get up early and come here.
Yeah, and support Dredd too.
That's
There's
right.
a whole internet campaign going on about that or something,
Because we need Dredd too, like, really bad. And what we also need really bad is for Anna to tell us her picks of the week, which are probably not going to have as many fake swear words, but, you know, not everybody can.
What are you going to do?
Off to Anna.
Anna, back in black, and here to talk about some comics. First up, we're going to start as all things do with Genesis, a new story from Nate Edmondson, who does Dream Merchants, and newcomer to the comic scene, Allison Sampson. She carried over from her architecture background of 25 years, like some great artists like Emma Rios, Gabriel Rodriguez, and Tom Kaczynski. So she brings some great art design to her surrealist book about a guy whose near-death experience allows him to change the future for what he thinks is the good, but we all know that good change doesn't come without some consequences. So it's all captured in this one book. It's pretty fantastic, very dreamlike. Speaking of dreamlike, Toby Cypress brings some amazing art to the third issue of White Suits by Frank Barbary. This is the third out of the fourth issue, so you got some time to catch up on it, but this book is going fast. If you want some awesome sparse coloring with some fantastic use of Zipatome in a amnesiac mobster crime book, it's all in here. And you'll be asking yourself, what in the world is a kill box? We'd find out when you read White Suits. Oh, did I mention that Frank Barbary also has a new #1 book coming out this week? Part of Dynamite's Gold Key relaunch, he's attacking Solar Man of the Atom, a man and a doctor of science who can control nuclear energy with the thought of mathematics, and he uses that to fight crime. But when his power starts to overtake him, it's up to his estranged daughter to save his life and possibly save the legacy of the Solar. I'm not a superhero person, as anyone in this store might be able to tell you, but I loved this book. And last up, we have the first trade paperback out of Sex Criminals from Matt Fraction and Chip Zdarsky. This is one of the funniest, most heart-filled books that I've read in a really long time. Super character-driven. When two people who can stop time by having sex find each other and share this power, what are they going to do with it? Probably have a little more sex, but it's for good. It's humorous, it's lighthearted, it has a lot of depth to it that you probably wouldn't expect to find in a book called Sex Criminals, but it's all there. And all of these books have got it going on this week. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Anna, and you're probably right. We didn't need to help sell that book at all, but whatever. I love talking about it. Yeah, read Sex Criminals. Anyway, speaking of things you should read.
Yes.
From Marvel, this is actually the 3rd issue of a storyline. This is Thor, God of Thunder, #21, the 3rd part of the Last Days of Midgard, which, I don't really know how to explain this to you other than Thor is fighting corporate crime, which is also a Minotaur, and he's also in the future fighting Galactus, and they're kind of tied together, but it doesn't matter because it's really, 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 really pretty.
Yeah, Assad Rivet came back with amazing colorist Ives Forcina to join Jason Aaron on the 4th? I guess this is technically the 4th story arc, 3rd story arc, whatever. The story arc after the movie arc with Malekith. But yeah, for some reason, people have not been getting onto the Thor, and that is a problem.
Yeah, seriously,
Like,
it's like you're
serious
suffering
problem?
for it more than we are?
Yeah.
We got plenty of them.
We got 1, 2, and 3. That's right. Get your
Just read
Thor.
it. It's more pink for you, too.
It is. There's a good lot of pink this week. We're going to go stark contrasting into black and white here. Another thing that you people seem to not be reading, or maybe you are, I don't know. But we're not moving a lot of them. And it's, I don't know why, but this is Stray Bullets #2. David Lapham brings you new Stray Bullets, The Killers. This is absolutely one of the best crime epics ever to be put on paper or any medium, whatsoever. And this is following Virginia, who is one of my favorite characters. You saw her early on in the series watching Star Wars, and she was horribly ruined by a chance encounter with a very scary man in a dark alleyway. But yes, and it's kind of, this whole series is like that, where chance encounters destroy a person's life, and it somehow comes back to bite them in the ass years and years later, or their children, because you always pass your stuff on to your kids. But yeah, this is a great cover too. There's a lot going on. There's some mannequin violence here for you, if that's your thing. But yeah, that's about it. Yeah. Bunny wants to say goodbye. He's gonna do a little dance for you. Morgan,
stop.
No. And see, he's turning to stare at you like
You can't hear this like I can.
No. Sorry, guys.